Good morning, students. Today we will go with the topic principles of prevention from chapter Why Do We Fall Ill? Right. All of what we have studied or talked about so far deals with how to get rid of an infection in someone who has the disease. Till now we have studied about the infection and how to get rid of that particular infection that we have learned. But today in this topic of prevention we will learn how to prevent the particular disease, which how to prevent that disease to occur. Till now we have studied if infection has occurred or disease has occurred, how to get rid of that, how to cure that disease. We have learned the treatment. Now we will learn the prevention. There is difference between prevention and treatment. Prevention means to stop the occurrence of the disease, whereas treatment means once it has occurred we will cure that disease. But there are three limitations of this approach to dealing with the infectious disease. The first is that once someone has disease, their body functions are damaged and may never recover completely. Means if once the body gets disease, that will damage the body functioning of the disease. Whichever organ is affected by that particular disease, that will affect the functioning of that particular organ in the body, and it will damage it. That means sometimes some diseases are so harsh that it will never recover completely, body will never recover completely. The second is that treatment will take time. Obviously any of the treatment in the body will take time, which means that someone suffering from the disease is likely to be bedridden for some time, even if we can give proper treatment. Sometimes even though you people are giving proper treatment, like even though you are giving proper medicines on time, proper food, proper bed rest, then also some people are bedridden, means they need to take the bed rest. The third is that the person suffering from an infectious disease can serve as the source from where the infection may spread to the other people. The third is that person suffering from a infectious disease can serve as the source from where the infection may spread to others. Means third is person suffering from an infectious disease can become the point from where the infection will spread to the other people. This leads to the multiplication of the above difficulties. It is because of such reasons that prevention of disease is better than cure. You might have heard about this proverb that prevention is better than cure. It is better to prevent the spread of disease rather than the time you have to cure that particular disease. Clear? How can we prevent disease? How we can stop the spread of particular disease? There are two ways, one general and one specific to each disease. The general ways of the preventing infection mostly relate to preventing exposure. The general ways of preventing infection mostly relate to preventing exposure. Means what is the general way to stop the disease or to prevent the spread of disease is from where this disease is coming, from where the people are getting exposed to that particular disease. We have to stop that exposure. How can we prevent the exposure of the infectious microbes? If we look at the means of their spreading, we can get some easy answers. That means if we are seeing that from where the disease is spreading, what is the means of that spread, then we can get the easy answer to how to stop the further disease. If we talk about airborne disease microbe, we can prevent exposure by providing living conditions that are not overcrowded. If some diseases are being spreaded through the air, or you can say airborne disease, you have to stop that with the exposure of the overcrowded area. Means right now we are going through the pandemic of corona, so here we are telling people to avoid the overcrowded areas such as railway stations, the functions, family functions, that is overcrowded area where the airborne disease can spread. So we have to stop the spread of the such disease through the overcrowded area. If it is waterborne disease, Prevent the exposure by providing safe drinking water. If some disease like cholera is spreaded through water, then we have to tell people or create awareness among the people to stop, or you can say provide the safe drinking water. We can tell municipal corporation, or we can tell people to buy some RO purifier for the pure drinking water, so that they can prevent the exposure of such waterborne microbes. This can be done by treating the water to kill any microbial contamination. For vector-borne infection, we can provide clean environment. If some diseases are spread through vector-borne, like mosquitoes, so at that time we have to prevent the bone of that particular infection, means we have to keep the environment clean. We have to clean the surrounding of the environment. We have to clean the surrounding in our near our house. We have to keep the surrounding areas clean or environment clean, so that the vector-borne disease can be prevented. This would not, for example, allow mosquito breeding. In other words, public hygiene is one basic key to the prevention of the infectious disease. In addition to these issues that relate to the environment, there are some other general principles to prevent infectious disease. To appreciate those principles, let us ask a question we have not faced with infectious every day. If someone is suffering from cold and cough in the class, it is likely that the children sitting around will be exposed to the infection, but all of them do not actually suffer from disease. Why not? You have commonly learned about this, that someone in your class, if they are having cold and cough, the children or the students sitting nearby will be affected. It's not necessary. If two students are sitting behind them, both of them will be affected. It's not necessary, because there is something called as immune system of the body, which is responsible for the protection of the disease against the body. If someone's immune system is very good, then that person won't be affected with the disease, and if someone's immune system is low, they will easily get affected with that particular infection. This is because the immune system of our body is normally fighting off microbes. We have cells that specialize in killing infecting microbes. These cells go into action each time infecting microbes enter the body. If they are successful, we do not actually come down with any disease. The immune cells manage to kill off the infection long before it assumes major proportions. As we have noted earlier, if the number of infecting microbes is controlled, the manifestation of disease will be minor. In other words, becoming exposed to or infected with the infectious microbes does not necessarily mean developing noticeable disease. Means, what these people have said in this paragraph is, in our body there is something called as immune system, which is responsible for fighting against the microbes in the body. These microbes are the specialized cells. You can say WBC cells. In WBC there are lymphocytes, and there are leukocytes, there are eosinophils, basophils, natural killer T cells, and all these particular cells, these cells are responsible for killing the infecting microbes which enter the body, and they will protect the body against the disease. We do not actually, every time we are coming across through various types of microbes or various type of infection in the environment, but every time we won't get affected because of this immune system will fight, and they will kill the microbes which have entered the body, and they will protect the body. But sometimes they are unable to control the microbe, and this disease will occur. They will try their best to protect the body, but sometimes to a minor amount we will be infected, and sometimes we won't be affected at all. And sometimes, because of low immune system, if we already going through some of the systemic disease also, the immune system would be low, and we would be affected with the infection. So one way of looking at the severe infectious disease, that it represents a lack of success of the immune system. If you go through any severe infection in the body, that means your immune system is low. The functioning of the immune system, like any other system in our body, will not be good if proper and sufficient nourishment and food is not available. So for our body, proper food and nourishment is important for our immune system to work properly. Therefore, the second basic principle of prevention of infectious disease is availability of proper and sufficient food. If someone is malnourished, then they would be affected with the disease very fast. These are general ways of preventing infection. What are the specific ways? They relate to peculiar property of the immune system that usually fight off microbial infection. Let us cite an example to try and understand this property. These days there is no smallpox anywhere in the world. But as recently as 100 years ago, smallpox epidemic were not at all uncommon. In such an epidemic, people used to be very afraid of coming near someone suffering from the disease since they were afraid of catching the disease. Right now, as we are going through the corona, we people are very afraid if someone is positive, corona positive, we won't go close to them because we are afraid of the disease that we will get affected with that. At before few years ago or 100 years ago, there was a smallpox was such a disease. It was a disease or it was an epidemic, and it was very common, and people were so much afraid if someone is suffering from smallpox, they won't go near to that person. However, there was one group of people who did not have this fear. These people would provide nursing care for the victims of the smallpox. This was a group of people who had smallpox earlier and survived it, although a lot of scarring. In other words, if you had smallpox once, there was no chance of suffering from it again. So, having the disease once was a mean of preventing subsequent attack of the same disease. That means once someone who have already suffered from smallpox, they will never get smallpox again there in life. So when people were suffering from smallpox, some people used to go close to them who have already been suffered or who were the victim of smallpox before, and their body has already produced antibody against this smallpox, so they were knowing they won't get affected with this again. So they used to go to such people and give the nursing care to them, and they will help them. This happens. How this happens? Why the people who have suffered from smallpox once will never get smallpox again? Because the body have the memory power, or immune system have the memory power, which means that if body has suffered with some antigen once or disease once, they will produce antibody against that, and they will store that antibody in the body. If the disease will occur again, that antibody will fight against that particular disease and will protect our body from that disease. This happens because when the immune system first sees the infection microbe, it responds again and that remembers it specifically. So the next time that particular microbe or its close relative enter the body, the immune system responds with even greater vigor. Means they will attack that particular disease with a double power. So vigor. This eliminates the infection even more quickly than the first time round. This is the basis of the basic principle of vaccination has come into our uses. How we came to know about the vaccine? What is vaccination? Vaccination means if something like kill microbes or kill organism or see here a definition is given or not, let me see. No, these people are not given the definition. Vaccination means a dead microbe or the capsule of that particular microbe is entered in the body, or they are entered in the dormant stage in the body of that particular organism. Now body don't know if it is a living one or the dead one. They will produce the antibody against it, and when actually disease occur, if people is vaccinated, they will produce, they already have the antibody against this, and now this antibody will again react with the disease antigen in a double vigorous manner, and the person will be protected. This is the concept of vaccination. Vaccination means you people were given injections when you were very small. There is a one chart of injections at particular month or age you are given. First is BCG and other diphtheria, mumps, measles. All this vaccination chart is there. You people are given with different vaccines for this, and this vaccine, because of these vaccines, we are protected against many of the disease. We can now see that as a general principle, we can fool the immune system into developing a memory for particular infection by putting something that mimics the microbe we want to vaccinate against into the body. This does not actually cause the disease, but this would prevent This would prevent any subsequent exposure to the infecting microbe from turning into the actual disease. Many such vaccines are now available for preventing the whole range of infection disease and provide a disease specific means of prevention. There are vaccines against C. Which all vaccines are already available? They are tetanus, diphtheria, whooping cough, measles, polio, and many other. Polio is already eradicated in the world with the help of these vaccines. This form the public health program of the childhood immunization for preventing infectious disease. Of course, such a program can be useful only if such health measures are available to all the children. Can you think of reason why this should be so? Some hepatitis virus which cause jaundice are transmitted through water. There is a vaccine for one of them. Hepatitis A in the market, but the majority of children in many parts of India are already immune to hepatitis A by the time they are 5 years old. This is because they are exposed to virus through water and under these circumstances would take the vaccine to control vaccine. See, now this paragraph is all about hepatitis. They have said that we can fool the immune system. How we can fool the immune system? By entering something that mimics the microbe and that will produce antibodies. And when the actually disease will occur, that antibodies are already present in the body. They are already body is already exposed to that something that mimics that microbe, and they can protect the disease. Many such vaccinations. We have already so many vaccines already developed in the world which are protecting us from various disease. Such program can be useful in health measures, and now we have developed the various charts and various vaccination program which can protect the children from various disease. Some hepatitis virus which cause jaundice was transmitted through water. There are vaccines in the market for hepatitis now. We have vaccines for the jaundice also. That means hepatitis A also, and many of the children have already in India. Many of the children have already taken the hepatitis A vaccines before the time they are 5 years old. This is because they are exposed to the virus through water. Clear? If any doubts, you can text me or you can call me. You have to write this prevention of the principles of prevention for the one time in your notebook. Thank you.